See, the thing is that when you set up your business incorrectly, the bank will deny you for years. But if you follow this exact 7-day setup process I'm about to give you right now, you're going to be able to position yourself from 50 to 100K in business funding, even without using your personal credit. You see, most people rush their business and they end up killing their business funding on down the line. So today I'm going to be breaking down the 7-day setup to accelerate your business funding within the next 7 days. Let's get it. Now, the reason why most people fail when it comes to actually getting business funding is only 3 things. Okay, let's talk about that first. Number 1, they rush the process of setting up their LLC. All right, let's just go over that. They rush the process of setting up their LLC. Number 2, this is a major one right here. They use Gmails. Now, this is a big major factor. We're gonna go over this inside of this video today, okay? Plus, let's go and drop that inside of there. They think that cash apps, right? Or any forms of transactions that go through your bank account are actual deposits. It is not. Number 3 is they don't put their business on the map, okay? Understand that when you're starting a business, in order for your business to be fundable, it has to be findable first. The banks want to be able to find your company, okay? So these are going to be the 3 major reasons on why majority of people fail when it comes to getting their business funded. All right, now that we got that over with, let's go ahead and go over accelerating your business funding within the next 7 days and get to day 1, okay? And I'm gonna let you guys know, y'all best believe your boy has saved the best for the end of this video. So make sure you subscribe, hit that like button. That way you'll be notified every time your boy drops a new video, okay? So day number 1, and we wanna take this day by day. Like my girl came to me the other day, we just was getting inside of a new house. She said, hey, listen, baby, I want everything done. You got the money. Let's go ahead and furnish everything out. I said, hey, listen, no, baby, we need to take one room at a time. Enjoy the process. That's how you enjoy the process, room by room first. And each room is done with excellence, okay? So day number 1, what we're gonna be doing on day number 1 is going to be choosing our entity / name for our company, okay? So what type of entity do you actually want to go out and get? This is very important when it comes to your business. Now I'm gonna break this down very easy for you guys, okay? What type of entity do we wanna be able to go out and get? There's only 3, and let me explain to you guys the difference between these 3 right here, okay? Entity and name, okay? There's 3 entities, okay? So when you're choosing one, there's gonna be a sole proprietor. I'm gonna break them down as much as possible for you guys. All right, we have the LLC. And then we have the C Corp. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to your business actually going out and receiving funding, I'm about to get to break this down very simple and easy to where you guys can understand right here, okay? Sole proprietor. If I want to go out and get funding for a sole proprietor, I need to understand that this is very high risk. Banks hate sole proprietors, okay? High risk. Now, LLC. If I go out and I create myself an LLC and I want to be able to go out and get funding, this is going to be good for funding. The LLC is always good when it comes to getting yourself funded. All right. When we go over to the C Corp, this is going to be great for funding. Banks love C Corps, okay? So, sole proprietor, high risk, LLC is going to be good for funding, and a C Corp is going to be great for funding. All right. So make sure you choose your entity correctly. All right, this is what we're going to be focusing on day 1. Now that we have chose our entity, we want to select our name of our company because most people don't understand what you name your company determines on what you actually walk out the bank with. You want to be the person that avoids names that put your company at a high risk. This is what majority of entrepreneurs do because they're rushing the process, right? They use names that are high risk like credit repair, art, real estate, restaurant, salon, anything that will indicate the industry that you're operating on your business name puts you at a high risk. All right, so I want to avoid all those names and move over to how Fortune 500 companies move out in this world. You feel what I'm saying? Like when I look at Apple, when I look at AT&T, when I look at Starbucks, when I look at Google, none of these names stand for the actual industry that they're in. We need to go by the exact same rules. All right? So I need you guys to understand that. Select the entity and select the name that you want to be able to go for your company, okay? This is going to be day one. I love to be able to tell people to have this finished before starting. So before I even go out and create myself an entity, I want to go ahead and go over a list of names. And you guys, by the way, let me help y'all out a lot. You can literally go into Google and type in low risk industry names for 2025. They're going to give you a PDF to be able to download with all of those names on there. All right. There should be no reason by the end of this video on why you cannot see funding when it comes to your company, okay? So this is going to be day number one. We want to make sure we select the correct entity and our name. Day number two, all right? This is going to be very important because after we get done with this, we want to make sure that we actually go out and get ourselves an address and a business phone number, okay? Address and business phone number. If you're inside of here, you're on day two, drop day two for me down below, okay? I want to make sure I go out and get address, my address, this is address, okay? Plus business phone number, okay? Plus the business phone number. We're just going to put that right there. All right, plus the business phone number. Now, here's the thing. When I'm going out to select an address for my company, I want you guys to understand what puts your company at a high risk. Using your residential address is one of the things that will get you denied faster than the Chick-fil-A line can move. All right? Banks don't want to see a personal address. When they're looking to give you 50 to 100K, they don't want to see a house pops up. Right? They're going to think, hey, listen, this must be the next trap house that we're about to get ready to go fund, the next Gotti operation. So I don't want a residential address attached to it, okay? Where most of us go wrong is that we end up mixing our business information with our personal information. And that ends up getting us denied, all right? So basically the information that you were born with, your phone number, your actual email, your address, all those personal things that's attached to you should not be connected to your business, okay? So when it comes to addresses, let's go over there very quickly, okay? That's going to be two things that you guys can actually go out and do. Number one, for my address, I can decide to be able to go out if I have the money to be able to do it. I can decide to go out and actually get a business office space, right? A business suite. All right. I decided to be able to do this, which this is going to be one of the most fundable ways that you can actually get your, up the rank when it comes to your business actually getting funded, okay? But what if I cannot afford the business office space? Well, that's completely fine, all right? As long as I don't use a P.O. box or residential address or anything that will get me denied faster than the ice cream machine can break at McDonald's, okay? So next is gonna be a virtual address, okay? If I cannot afford a business office space, I can always go out and get me a virtual address. Now, let me touch very key on this point right here, okay? Because most of us, we like to be able to go out to places like iPost1, the places that we hear on ads and we hear these YouTubers saying, hey, go to iPost1 to get a virtual address. Some of these places that you get a virtual address from puts you at a high risk because the banks, creditors, and lenders can tell that, hey, listen, this is not a real office space. Okay, so I want to actually get me a virtual address from a place that has credibility and that will actually put my company at a low risk, okay? So day number two is going to be making sure we get the address and business phone number, okay? Now let's go and get, I'll almost get this for a second, Chad. All right, we was talking too much about address, all right? Now let's talk about the business phone number. I'm about to really give y'all a big gem on this, okay? We don't want to use our personal phone number because when I call any Fortune 500 company, they don't have a personal line. What they have is a business toll line. Everybody drop that for me down below inside the comment section. They have a business toll line. Now, here's the best benefit that you can do, okay? You can go to places like of Ring Central to get you a business toll line. You can go to different places like Google Voice as long as you set it up correctly. But what I tell majority of my students to be able to do is you want to get a benefit for every single move that you're making inside of your business, including the structuring process, okay? So when I go out and get my business toll line, I tell my students, say, listen, go to Global Voice Direct. The benefit to them is that every single month that I pay on this business toll line with them, a $7,500 trade line reports to my business credit bureaus every single month. I'm building business credit from the foundation part. You understand what I'm saying, chat? All right, so I want to go out and give me a business toll line from either Ring Central, Global Voice Direct, whichever one fits you the best, okay? This is going to be day number 2. Now, let's go on and get to day number 3. All right, most people, here's the thing. Banks, when it comes to funding, you have to understand that it is not your hard work that gets you funded. Banks love structure. They love to be able to see that your business is not just a side hustle, right? It's an actual legit business that they can fund, that they can trust with 50 to 100K, okay? Now, day number 3, very important, okay? Now that we have chosen our entity and we went over and we got our address and also a business toll line, day number 3, this is where we're going to make our online presence, okay? This is where we're going to make our online presence. Now, I need you guys to understand that every bank, creditor, and lender, if they're trying to be able to fund you 50 to 100K, you best believe that they're going to be checking a website out, making sure that you're actually legit. They're going to be checking your online presence, okay? Now, many of the people that's usually watching the YouTube videos or any lessons on creating a business, they usually be like, hey, listen, I don't know how to be able to go out and create a website. I don't know how to be able to do it. It's going to take me a lot of time to be able to do these things. It doesn't. It actually doesn't, okay? So our online presence is going to consist of 2 things. That's going to be our website and our email, okay? Website and email. Let me go and go over there, okay? Website and email. Y'all make sure y'all work with me inside of her, all right? Try to write. I'm getting faster at writing, chat. I can't make it up. All right? And email. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to the website, I'm about to give you guys one of the most quickest hacks when it comes to your website and also your email, because banks want to be able to see that your domain name matches with your email. Okay? In other words, when I go out and select the website and and that website name is www.kaigibson.com, right? My email has to compare to that. So that means my email will be info@kaigibson.com. That's going to be the business email. Anything that is mismatching across the board will get you denied. Okay? So, website. In order for me to get a website, Rich, I don't know how to be able to go out and do the tech stuff and create me a website. Okay, that's completely great. That's why we have AI nowadays, okay? Best people I tell my students to be able to go to is going to be a place called GoDaddy. All right? If you're inside the comments, make sure you drop GoDaddy for me down below. Now, here's the benefit to GoDaddy. They're going to be able to take care of your website and your email for you all at the same time. What they do is, it takes you about $27 if you're just going to be able to get the website and the email, okay? And they use an AI tool in order to be able to create your website and plug every single thing that you need inside of there. That means the terms and agreements, the private policy. They're going to put everything inside of your website that you could possibly need, all right? Now, when you go over to the email, they're going to be able to they're going to be able to connect your email with your domain name. All you have to simply do is go throughout with them, create the email that you want it to be able to actually be, right? If I want it at info@kaigibson.com, or if I want it at, we're just going to stick with info, all right, at kaigibson.com, all right? So both of those are going to be matching down the board. If I want to be able to get the website and email made from the same place, I'm going to simply go over to GoDaddy.com. And this is what's going to create my online presence. So now when the banks are actually looking me up, all right, they can see that I have a professionally business-made website. If they want to be able to email me, my email is connected to that domain. And I look more professional than the average company that doesn't know this information that you guys are getting right now. All right, y'all understand that? Like, information is going to be the only thing that will never be able to be taken away from you inside of this world. When you lose everything, information is the only thing that stays with you when you lose everything. So guess what that means? You can get it back again. You can get it back again. I remember when I lost all of my money. I thought I lost everything for a certain point, but when I sat down and I really thought about it, I said, well, damn, I only lost 10% of my entire assets. Why? Because I only lost the money. That was all I lost. I lost the money. But the other 90% was the information I had, the mentality that I had built. Everything I had to get the money back again. So I never really lost anything, okay? Now, let's go and get to day number 4. All right. Now that we have we selected our business entity and our name, we went over and created ourselves a address and a business phone line, and then went over and got our address and email connected. Now this is going to be day number 4. I'm hoping you guys are ready for this inside of the chat. Give me some fire signs drop down below if you're loving this right now, chat. All right, give me some fire signs drop down below. So day number 4 is going to be actually going out and starting our business bank account. This is going to be very simple, okay? Very simple. The only thing that I see people mess up at right here, okay, starting a business checkings account, is they think that, hey, listen, well, Rich, in order for me to be able to start a business checkings account, don't I gotta be able to pour a lot of money inside of it? My first business checkings account I started off with $50 inside of the account because I didn't have much at all. All right? So you don't have to have a lot of money. Let's go and kill that myth off right now, okay? So my business checkings account. Let me go ahead and give you guys a couple of the best banks that you guys can actually go out and start one with. First one is going to be Chase. These are going to be banks that are known for going out and giving you high limits and easy approvals, okay? Chase. Next, we're going to have Bank of America, okay? Bank of America, BOA. All right. Last, we're going to have Navy Federal, okay? Now, there's a way to be able to get inside of Navy Federal. If you guys want that video on that, like how do I get, if I'm not inside of the military, how do I actually get myself inside of Navy Federal, okay? If you can't get inside of Navy Federal, there's always credit unions that are near you. If you're somebody with challenging personal credit and you want to go out and PG the business, I know that this is a EIN only video, right? But if you're planning on PG in your business, the best place you can go with challenging personal credit is going to be a credit union. So either one of these banks are going to be great to be able to start your account. Now, here's the things you want to make sure that when you're starting these accounts, you want to make sure you have these things done, okay? Because once I start the checkings account, of course I got it done, but like what does banks actually look at, okay? What does banks actually look at immediately when I start my business? Because they have something called bank rating. The bank actually gives you their own internal score on your business. And that's going to depend on how well you take care of your checkings account, okay? So, number 1, I want to make sure when I start this account that I start actually making deposits, okay? I want to make sure that I start making deposits. Now, here's the thing. When I say deposits, I do not mean Cash App. All right? Zelle is actually a form that you can be able to use in order for deposits. But my best way to be able to break this down for you guys, if you're watching this video today and you have a job and you get paid every single week or every single 2 weeks from your job, take that money, go over and deposit it inside of your business checkings account. Now, here's the thing. There's a way to be able to do that, but at least I'm showing consistent. This leads me number 2, okay? I'm showing consistency, okay? I need to just make it DC in the third one, all right? I'm showing consistency every single week or every 2 weeks inside of that business checkings account. They want to be able to see consistency, okay? When you're going out and asking for 50 to 100K for a bank and they see that, oh, listen, he only gets 1 deposit a month, right? How could they possibly trust you with $50,000 to $100,000? You have to be able to show them, you have to be able to build the credibility when it comes to the bank. All right? So I'm hoping you guys are getting that. We want to make sure that we, as soon as we start the checkings account, we want to get us some deposits in. All right. We want to make sure those deposits are consistent. And we want to make sure, last of all, that we don't catch ourselves in an overdraft. Okay? Want to make sure we don't catch ourselves in a overdraft. All right, as long as we got these things done, we're completely fine. All right? Now, let's get to day number 5. This is where it really gets spicy right now, chat. All right? Because now that we got every single thing done when it comes to structuring the process, all right, now we get to accelerate our funding truly right here. Because on day, remember, I should have been doing this the whole time. This would have been very simple. Just erase the number and get to the day. All right. So day number 5, let's get to that. Day number 5 is going to be actually creating your business profile. All right. Understand that your business credit profile is completely separate from your personal profile. But how do we actually start off with it? Very simple. Okay. Business profile. Let's get that up there. Business profile. Okay, so business profile. We want to make sure that we, first of all, we go out and get our DONS number. Everybody do me a favor and drop DONS for me down below, okay? Now, here's the important part about going out and getting your DONS number. I want you guys to understand that every single creditor lender that is planning on giving you a business credit card or a corporate credit card, they're all going to be pulling your DONS number / paydex score. So I want to make sure that I go out and get my DONS number. But one thing I want to keep you guys from is just completely skip past all of those paid programs they have for you guys. I've literally seen people come out paying $800 and still haven't seen their business credit built to today. All right. So completely skip past any of those programs and go out and get your DONS number completely for free. All right. Next, we want to start ourselves off with vendor accounts. We want to understand the vendors and we want to understand the accounts to actually go out and get when it comes to vendor accounts. All right. You have to be the person when you're building your business profile to know how to transition over from vendor accounts to actual corporate credit cards, lines of credit that you get for your business. Okay. This is going to lead me to number 3 right here. Once we recognize that we got to start off with vendor accounts, I want to make sure that I go out and get some that starts to report early. Now, here's the thing where most people mess up at right here, okay? Most of us go out and get accounts that start reporting, if they even do report. I see a lot of people make that mistake going out and getting the accounts that don't even report to business credit scores, all right? But most people, they go out and get these accounts that take at least 30 to 60 days to report. So when I say early accounts, all right, when I say early accounts, I mean accounts that report within the next 7 to 10 days. 7 to 10 days. Now, we don't really understand sometimes the information that we don't have access to what's truly costing us every single day. So therefore, I want to make sure that I establish all 3 of these. Go out and get these accounts that report. I only want to establish accounts that report within the next 7 to 10 days, especially when I'm starting off building my business credit alone. All right. This is one of the things that I've shown my students inside of the Rich Secrets 2.0 ebook guide, which will be inside of the description section of this video for those of you who need a step-by-step instruction way in order to build business credit completely from scratch. All right. So boom, we got those 3. Now let's go ahead and get to day number 6. We're getting to it, chat. One by one, we're taking them down just like when we build a house, right? Most people, when they're building a house, the people that's rushing fast, they're like, hey, listen, let's get this house up and let's get it built and go ahead and sell it, right? As soon as the nearby wind come by, the house is going down. Why? Because they didn't build with foundation. Sometimes we got to learn to slow down in order to truly speed up. Most of us are rushing so much to put things together, and we're not recognizing that we're just building something that's just weak. It can be put down very, very quick. Okay? So let's go and get to day number 6. Day number 6 is going to be income positioning. All right? How do I position myself when it comes to my business checkings account, right? In order for the banks to be able to see me as a fundable business. All right, very important. Income positioning. Now here's the thing, very simple and easy. All right. When it comes to positioning myself my income for my business that's going inside of the account. Number one, I want to make sure that I go out and get me a payment processor that deposits inside of my account not every single day, but as long as it's having consistency, okay? So I want to go to somebody like Stripe, payment processor, or I can go out and get me a simple merch account, starting with the bank. Most banks actually offer a merchant account for you guys, all right? And a payment processor, all they're going to be doing is if I'm a self-contractor, right? And I'm going out and each job that I do costs $5,000, right? Yes, you can write me a check and I go over take that to the bank. But if I had a payment processor, you can simply pay with that payment processor right then and there, and the deposit comes in within the next 2 days. All right, this is what's going to be able to show us show the bank consistent deposits are going in every single 2 weeks, day, however it works. All right, however your schedule works. Number 2 is going to be that big C again. All right, consistency. I want to make sure I have consistent payments coming in. All right, no matter how the consistency is, it don't matter if I'm getting paid every 2 weeks or if I'm getting paid every week. They just want to see the consistency of that flow. Okay. Number 3, no error strikes. All right, no error strikes. They want to make sure that you have no errors inside of your account. So this is going to be, once again, any overdrafts that you have, any zero balances, or anything that can strike the bank rating to tell them, hey, listen, he's not responsible with his money. They want to be able to see that you're actually responsible. All right. Now, I'm hoping we made this very simple and easy, because now we get to day number 7, which is going to finish every single thing out that we've started. See, banks don't like, one thing about this, okay? Income positioning. Banks like patterns. They like patterns. Anything other than a pattern that they can see, they don't like it. They say, hey, listen, this is a high risk. So either you're going to walk out that bank with a denial, or you're just going to walk out with the lower end of the stick. All right. But let's go and get to day number 7. Day number 7. Boom. Day number 7 is going to be very simple, because all we're going to be doing is reading every single thing that we went over. All right. I want to make sure before I actually go out and start applying for anything when it comes to my business credit, I want to make sure that I read everything off and make sure I got all these things done. So, number 1, I want to make sure that I have the full fundable checklist. All right, I'm going to squeeze that in there real quick. Fundable checklist for number 1. All right, now the fundable checklist is going to be very simple. It's just day 1, starting from day 1. I want to make sure I have all those things down all the way to day 6. Every single one of those things down, okay? That's going to be the fundable checklist. Number 2, I want to make sure that my credit profile matches against all bureaus. Let me tell you what I mean by that, okay? I want to make sure that my credit profile is aligned with all 3 of my business credit bureaus. See, here's the thing. Most people will go out and make errors when it comes to their company because they file with the Secretary of State and their business name is ABC Enterprises. But then they go over to NAB where they're putting their business information in and they name their business. They put their business as A.B.C.Enterprises. Any little flaws like that of mismatching information puts you at a high risk. All right. And that means that you're going to have some bureaus that are actually reporting and some that are not because they can't recognize your business. All right. So you want to make sure that your credit profile is aligned through all of the bureaus. Once you got that done, you are now ready. Okay. You are now ready to be able to go out and receive corporate credit cards, lines of credit, and EIN only approvals when it comes to your company. Now, this is the phase where usually people end up applying too early and they get denied because they don't know the true process of how it's supposed to be able to go. Because see, here's the thing. I remember when I first started my first company over 6 years ago, I made so many mistakes, and now I'm able to allow my mistakes to become you guys' advantage, right? But I started my business off when I got completely fired from my job. This is what gave me the fuel. This is what let the fuel to the fire. I completely invested all of my money that I was working with my job with, right? I saved up all of my money because they told us it takes money in order to be able to make money. So I saved up over $7,000, invested inside of my first Airbnb, and that Airbnb actually made me money. I thought my job was going to be able to continue to pay me, but that didn't happen because 2 weeks later, they completely called me and fired me. And at that point, my bank account was not just low, it was negative $546. I was sleeping on somebody else's couch, and last of all, I didn't have a job now. The only thing I can think of at that point is, hey, listen, how can I go from this couch that is not even mine to get my second Airbnb? Because I know if I went from my first Airbnb to my second, my third, my fourth, I wouldn't have to never work a job again. The only problem is the reality check is I was broke, sleeping on somebody else's couch, and I was fired. So I started researching information, and I learned about LLCs. And the first time I created it completely incorrectly because I was just rushing the process. I didn't know anything about an LLC. I was just going by the steps that I was told, right? And I was rushing the process. So when I actually figured out how to correct that information, a week later, I was able to be able to get my first amount of funding, which was about $10,700. It took me from my first Airbnb to my second. But the most important thing I learned from this was that wealthy people don't use their own money. They use systems and leverage in order to be able to grow and scale their life and their company. Because the first Airbnb I started off with my own money. And I realized that slowed me down because I didn't have it. It put me in the negative. When I started using other people's money, I was able to go from that first Airbnb that I used my own to my second, third, fourth, fifth. It was crazy. Now, if you want this exact blueprint broken down step by step, I put it into a guide that shows you exactly how to go out and receive $50,000 to $100,000 in business funding without using your personal credit, which will be inside of the link inside of this description inside of this video. All right. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe so you can be updated every time your boy drops a new video. And until next time, it's your boy Rich Secrets, and we out.